Hey guys, Evan's coming at you. Happy Sunday. Hopefully, you are doing your meal prepping and planning and preparing for this upcoming week. And what I wanted to do really quick is share this tip. So, kind of took off most of the summer. I'm ready to start my cutting cycle again. And when I go cutting, I don't mean like aggressive fad dieting, anything weird like that. It's just, cleaning up my nutrition, make sure my tracking is really tight. And I do believe in coaching. So I actually plugged into a coaching session. And for years, there's been this debate between like measuring food cooked versus raw. And I've always been on the understanding like, hey, as long as I measure it cooked, my Fitness has things in there that says cooked. So I just find the cooked one and then it's good. The challenge is the calories and macronutrients are based on what the raw food looks like. So you have, let's say, chicken breast raw, 4 ounces of chicken breast raw. They have the macronutrients for that. And when you cook it, it actually decreases in size. So the 4 ounces turns into maybe 3.5, depending on how much water is left in the chicken, the style in which you use to cook the chicken. But when you're done, that 3 ounces that you have left still has the same macros of that 4 ounces of chicken raw. So it's always been like, how do you do this when it comes to cooked food? Well, certain things are really simple, right? If I was going to make some spinach and an omelet and things like that, I just weigh my chicken raw, I weigh my egg whites or my egg raw, and then I can just cook those items and then I just eat it. But the where it gets a little tricky is bulk recipes, meaning after cooking enough chicken for the week or after cooking enough rice for the week, how do I do that? So I wanted to just come on real quick and just talk through that and show you the visual impact of cooking it raw versus cooked, versus measuring raw versus cooked. And I think many people who struggle hitting their protein or maybe have not seen the weight loss that they want to see at the pace they want, were overeating. And I have to admit, I probably was recommending that they overeat by measuring all their food cooked because I didn't really see the impact. So I'm gonna walk you through, what I did over the last day as I was, prepping my meals. Took out the chicken breast and I just weighed it raw. And then I'm gonna share my screen with my FitnessPal so I can walk you through the process of doing this. And you can do the same thing on the app. If you go into my FitnessPal app, you just click on the more section and you go into meals and recipes. So here we go. Let me share my screen. Boom. Here we go. Share. So you see here in my FitnessPal, and you can literally go to recipes. Now, what's really cool is that when you've created your own recipes over time, you do have your own recipes in there, and you can just custom name it. So let's say if I was to edit this one, let's go to chicken breast. I can go to edit. Now, if you're making it for the first time, I'll actually show you how to do that in a second, but I just wanted to show you what happened. I weighed it out raw, and when I weighed it raw, it was 939 grams of chicken breast raw. Seasoned it. I pan-fried my chicken breast with olive oil spray, and then when it was all done, I just weighed out the whole container, the whole amount, and then that's how many servings it was. And the servings are indicative of per gram. So those 939 grams raw cooked down to 700 grams cooked. And now I can use this Evans chicken breast as my chicken breast every time I want to log my food. So I'll just go back real quick and show you the difference in here. If we go to my food diary, and let's say we go to tomorrow, and you'll see the difference. I did this with chicken breast, where it's Evans chicken breast, and you can see here, 150 servings or grams of chicken breast weighed out, came out to 260 calories, but 52 grams of protein. Versus if I just went in my FitnessPal and used the one that I've been using for the last year and a half, 150 grams of boneless, skinless chicken breast, cooked, is actually 100 calories less, according to my in here, and is 20 grams of protein less. So in reality, every time I was eating 150 grams of chicken breast, I could potentially be eating 100 calories more and 20 more grams of protein. So this just helps. And when the question is, do I have to do that every time? And I would say yes, because the amount of heat that you use, the length of time that you use to cook it is going to make a difference in how much the, net weight is when you're done. So it just takes 2 steps. I just weigh before I season, cook, boom. And what I've done actually is I have a bowl, and I didn't plan on showing you guys, but I have a bowl, and the bowl actually wrote on a Sharpie in the back, is a metal bowl. And I just wrote on the bottom 245, because that's how much the bowl weighs in grams. But I can just put the bowl on my food scale, press the tare button, and just drop my chicken breast in. I see how much it weighs, just take it off the food scale and just start seasoning, or go and wash it, and then, wash it and then weigh it or whatever. And then I can season and cook it. And that's the way I do it. Same thing with rice, right? Depending on how much water you put in your rice and how long you cook your rice determines how fluffy the rice is. But that weight of rice, the raw rice, doesn't change. Those nutrients don't change no matter how much water you put into it. But it'll weigh different, and it'll fill up like a measuring cup differently. So I'll show you this here. I'll edit this recipe so you can see what happened. So we go into the Evans rice here. I went in and I weighed it before I cooked it, and it weighed out at 600 grams raw. When I finished cooking it, it pretty much doubled to about 1240 cooked. So it doubled up. And then now every time I use 1 gram or 5 grams or 10 grams of rice, it's going to show up as that number, that exact calculations. So if we go to tomorrow, here you can see that if I use Evans, 150 grams of rice is about 258 calories, 58 grams of carbs in it, versus, if I use the one in my MyFitnessPal for cooked rice, 150 grams is 48 grams of carbs, 10 grams of carbs different. And you can see in calorie wise, we're looking at 100 calories, and that may not just be as accurate as it should be, but we're looking at about 100 calories different. And we can even see here in MyFitnessPal the inconsistencies that the food labels allow. Meaning, if this is 10 grams of carbs less than this is, and the exact same amount of protein, how are the calories only 3 calories apart? And that's the reason why we track macros and not calories. But you can see here, this is about a 40 calorie difference is what it should be from one to another. All that being said, let me just show you how to do it. So you go to recipes, and you can just create a recipe, right? So so you can come into recipes, you can click on enter new recipe, and then you can just name it. So you can name it whatever you want. So let's call it Seeing You Fit, and let's say it was steak, Seeing You Fit steak, and not steak, steak. Here we go. And number of servings, that number, you can put any number in there. So you can just put this number in here. And then you have to add an ingredient. So we're going to just put 1, click add ingredient. And now we're going to search for a steak. So, a lot of foods, when you go to a store, actually tells you the macronutrients right on the label. So you can actually just type that in or scan the barcode code for that. But let's say you have some top sirloin, raw. I guess you guys spell sirloin properly as well. Here we go. So we can grab that in here, and we can see how much it weighs. I like to do it in grams to make my life easy. So let's say I weighed it out, and it was like 10 ounces, which is probably 280 grams, in there. So it's just a small piece of steak. I can just add this in here, and then I continue, so where is it here? I'm just used to doing it on the app. It's a little bit easier to do. Oh, here we go, save recipe. And actually, because you're on the computer, you can actually do everything right in one spot. On the iPad or your phone, you go to the next step. But then let's say this 280, when it cooks up, you realize that it cooks and it became 240. And you can see now how the macros have shifted for it. So so that now 280 grams cooked would be 365, 62 grams of protein. But when it cooked down, it changes. The same 240 is that 62. So we click save recipe. And it says it has to have at least 2 ingredients when you do it right here on the computer. On the phone, it won't give you that problem at all. to be able to do it. And then you can just rock and roll from there. I'm going to see if I can kind of share in from my computer, from my phone, excuse me, to show you guys how to do it right from your phone. So stand by one quick second. I'm just going to join in from my my pad. So log in. But yeah, this is a game changer. If you start thinking about how many meals you eat in a typical day and how this is called multiplying, you can find yourself that you've been adding, a ton of calories in, and that could be one of the things that's holding you back from seeing the progress that you want. Or sometimes people think, oh, I'm eating too much food, but the reality is that they're not eating as much food as they thought they were eating. So that's just one of the features to look at, is to ensure that you're, getting in the food that you want to. So I'm gonna stop sharing from here. Boom, boom, allow, and here we go. Mute. Camera, enter studio. Beautiful. Just turning up the volume so you don't have that echo sound in here. And then from in here, I'm going to share my screen. Oh, hold on. The technology didn't work. But I'll attach another video to this here to show you how to do it from your phone. But literally, you just create the number that you want, and then you just finish the recipe, and it shows you this how many calories it is for that particular meal in there. But it's a game changer when it comes to making these little changes when it, to build out the lifestyle that you want or to hit your numbers. But try it out. You'll realize that you're eating a lot more than you thought you were, and it'll be easier to actually hit the numbers that you're shooting for. So I'm pretty excited about that. I thought that was something I wanted to share with you guys. Hopefully it adds a little bit of value to you to ensure you're tracking properly and in a way that's in sync with your goals, so you can crush your goals consistently. And then the last thing is just, ensuring that you're consistent. That's the other piece is, being consistent day in and day out with it. It doesn't take a long time, but, for me, over the next 90 days, I'm expecting to lose maybe 12 to 15 pounds at max in that time frame. So hopefully that adds a little bit of value, but ensure you're tracking raw. That's the tip if you're just coming on. Talk to you guys soon and have a phenomenal day.